and welcome to the Gay Battlers podcast. I'm Debbie Pebble with our co-host PvP Steve.
Hi.
And this is episode 52. We're still into the Roads to Worlds edition. We have 3 Oceania Worlds qualified players here. Oh, wait, 4. Sorry, Steve.
Technically.
Technically, best in South Africa. We don't include it here. We do have fortwah, we have Godzilama, and we've got Zeetarb today. Thank you all for coming in today.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, good. And I think now we're just like, some of you haven't been on the podcast before, so we're just going to go a round table of introducing yourselves. From my version, I'm just going to go in a clockwise direction. So we're going to start off with Greg. Just give us a rundown of who you are, where you've been. Welcome to Pokemon Go.
Hi, so I'm Greg Fortier. In game, I am fortwah. I am also Greg from America, as you've heard the story, I'm sure, if you listen to the podcast. So obviously did not grow up here in Australia, but been living here for the last few years. In terms of Pokemon, really started with the Game Boy games. That was kind of how I got into it. And when Pokemon Go came out, it was sort of just like, this was my childhood dream. So I started playing it. I did take a bit of a hiatus because it was kind of not that exciting when it first came out. You're just collecting things. And then got back into it when I moved away from where I grew up. And then that's when I sort of got into a little bit of PvP. That was right before COVID hit, was when I re-downloaded the game. And then COVID hit and I sort of just dove into GBL. But my first Show 6 tournament was actually Melbourne last year, when I sort of met all you guys. So that's kind of, and then, the rest is history. You kind of know the rest of that stuff. So.
Yeah, because locals didn't get announced until Melbourne. So that was literally the introduction, just straight into the deep end of Melbourne Regionals. That's pretty cool.
Which I guess the trivia point, which we definitely would have talked about last year, I suppose, was like, not only was your first tournament that Melbourne won, but I think you instantly had a little bit of name rep because in your very first round for the tournament, this guy that we've never heard of before, this fortwah guy, defeated Valiant Vish. And we were like, oh, hold the phone. What's going on over here?
Yes, I got a little bit lucky in my first matchup. I think Vish may have taken me a little bit lightly. Didn't expect me to bring a Bastodon twice, but ever since the podcast last year when Vish talked about a Bastodon user bringing Bastodon, I've checked that team several times, and it looked real good in his team, and I stand by it. But I actually think Baptiste is who knocked me out of Melbourne last year. So a little bit of...
Yeah, I remember you were playing students.
Yes, Bastodon did not do well there. Gligar and the Bastodon in the end was a downfall. Yes. So, yes.
Yeah, look, the Bastodon can go very well or it can go very bad. I mean, yes. I think we've got 3 people familiar in some sense with Bastodon as well, based on, I guess, the third person here that also ran Bastodon at Worlds last year. But I guess we can talk about that a little bit later, I suppose. But, I mean, Godzilama as well. Welcome to the podcast for the first time. Do you want to sort of give yourself a bit of an introduction? Tell us all who you are.
Sure. So my name is Baptiste. So I'm from France. Actually living in Australia since 5 years now. My name in Pokemon Go is Godzilama. I started to play in 2016. So stop maybe a few months after and starting the game 4 years ago. And start PvP, I think was just after Japan. So I remember I was in a bush working, and I can't remember exactly, but I found the grand final was the grand final, and just after that I was like, wow, I was very fascinating and very interesting to try, and since this day I just keep working, practicing, and until now. After that, my favorite Pokemon is Psyduck. Don't ask me why. I just love Psyduck. I have 3 shiny. I have 4 Hondo Shadow, but it's one of my favorite Pokemon in general. And of course I'm the last Brisbane regional champion, 2025. And that's it, I think. My first regional I think was in Melbourne, so the last season, 2024. I didn't do very well. I think I lost round 1 and loser bracket directly. I didn't win any games, and yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah. Well, look, it must make sense that I guess it works out nicely that Psyduck is your favorite Pokemon, because that World Championship qualifying card is like a Pikachu that's got a special ability, something to do with Psyducks. I think.
Oh,
It's been a while since it's very bad. It's like, I don't know, it does extra damage if there's a Psyduck or something. I'll have to fact check it at some point, but it's a Psyduck related card, which is, you know, goofy but funny enough, I suppose. But
But
welcome
the
in,
thing
and
is probably worth heaps.
oh yeah. I think the monetary value is a lot more than its value on the card game battlefield, to say the least. But Zeetarb, welcome back to the podcast on from last year when you qualified for Worlds. And I suppose the only guy here that was, you know, a thoroughbred from Australia, I suppose. The domestic product.
I noticed the
had
two.
never even left Australia. So.
I did notice the two foreign kids were put into the same podcast. I don't know what that was about,
but for the record, I guess we didn't really do an intro, by the way, like episodes ago about the Road to World series. We just sort of started when we really could have. But essentially, this episode we put the guys that didn't go to NAIC, so it was one less tournament we had to talk about.
Fair.
But yeah, Zeetarb, introduce yourself again for those that have sort of just tuning in now.
Yep, so in-game name's Zeetarb, name's Jack. I kind of got into Pokemon Go shortly after it first started, and then was never really very serious about it until I actually moved to Perth during COVID. Then made a bunch of friends, went to the first regional, won my first battle, and I was like, oh, this is pretty easy. And then turns out the guy I battled adjusted and wiped the floor with me, and I was like, I've never heard of this Avrip guy before. And it turned out he was actually he won the regional. So through that, I got into a lot of Discord servers and local tournaments that were organized by our great host Debbie, and that really got me. I really stepped up my game and started playing a lot better, and then, you know, came back the next year in Perth, ended up 4th. I didn't play that well, but it's kind of very, very weird. I think I played better this year with much worse results, but yeah, that just kind of snowballed over time, and that's how I've kind of got to Worlds twice, I guess.
Yeah, and look, the increasing skill thing is definitely also very real in general, in that, you know, if you play at the exact same skill level that you might have played at 2 years ago, you're going to get crushed compared to how you might have played back in like 2023. It's the skill is definitely increasing on the whole. It's getting tougher and tougher. Yeah, talking to Debbie Pebble, 4th place in the first Perth.
Woo, I podiumed.
Yeah, haven't quite made it top 4 since. Needed to go to South Africa, I guess. But yeah, welcome all to the podcast. And I guess as you know, we've done in the last few episodes, if you are just tuning in, is that we are sort of going to go through first a little bit chronologically through the tournaments as they played out, which for the most part here is going to be the 3 Australian tournaments. But I suppose in some sense we have a little bit of a prelude from Zeetarb, because he made a little bit of a trek over to, and this is ridiculous, he went overseas to play in Buenos Aires and LAIC. I mean, who would do that sort of nonsense? It was me, by the way. But do you want to give us a bit of a breakdown of your trip over South America way? And I guess, you know, the why and how as well.
Yep. So how it came about was I got a message one day saying, oh, I think you'll end up potentially getting the travel award for LAIC. And I was like, what is a travel award? And it hadn't existed before. It was the first time it existed. And just coincidentally, the period for that travel award included my 4th place in Perth, and also the period where I was really doing a lot of regionals and doing well in a lot of local tournaments, sorry. And then it just coincidentally ended up in the list of the 4 people. So I was like, well, free money to go overseas. I'm like, I might as well do this, even though it ended up costing me like quite a bit more than the actual travel award to fly to South America and stay there. So I guess keep an eye on that for next LAIC. But yeah, so I figured it was an opportunity. And how many times are you going to win a trip to go and play a game somewhere? Like, I was like, this is kind of a once in a lifetime kind of thing, so might as well do it. And then I heard from someone that there was another Australian who was also going to Argentina the week before, and I was like, well, I'm flying to Brazil. only a couple of days before that tournament, I might as well stop in Argentina and follow them around for a bit. And
Was I the bad influence? Is that what's
you
happened?
were.
Oh,
You were.
I didn't know that bit. Oh man.
Yeah. And then kind of unfortunately, when I get to Argentina, it was a special event, and special events, it turns out, use your own device. And at the time, I was on a busted old Android phone, and using a bit dodgy local 4G that I hadn't really scoped out beforehand. So I think my first round, I was facing actually quite a good battler, previous legend, all that kind of thing. And actually, I did manage to get the win in that round one, but every battle lagged pretty hard. Like I was losing 4 or 5 moves each game quite
Nice.
easily. And then I came up in round 2 against LNDS Oreo, and he ended up finishing second in that tournament. He's a very good player. And it did lag quite a lot in our battles with him, but I was kind of going back through the recordings and looking at it. I mean, I lost whether it lagged or not in this situation. It was kind of it lagged, but it wouldn't have helped me if it didn't. And then I think after that, I kind of gave up for the next battle, because I was seeing the amount it was lagging, it probably wasn't going to work out. So then I headed off to Brazil, LARC, realized if I got championship points, I could have got a free trip to England after that. So naturally, there was something on the line, so I completely pumped out. And this is where I learned to hate Mandibuzz, because my winners bracket loss was against an Air Slash Mandibuzz, which my team just had no answer for. And then in losers, I was playing Copper Kid, who's also a very good player, and because 1-1 going into game 3, and I was too scared of Azu on my Mandibuzz. If I just brought Mandibuzz, I would have won that game very easily and got my free trip to England. So Mandibuzz has been the enemy ever since, and I will never respect Mandibuzz. I'm not bringing it any other tournaments.
I mean, this explains the Bastion at Worlds. This
I used it in one tournament, and everyone who's complained about it, I've faced them in GBL, and they were using Bastiodon. Some of them try to top left before you see it, but you always see that typing come through.
Look, just you're an influencer, is what I'm hearing. But yeah, the travel awards kind of caught us by surprise, and it's kind of cool that it's in place now. But I think a lot of people would have done or gone to more events or tried harder if they knew about it earlier. So it's pretty cool to. I wouldn't say lucky, because you earned the championship points for it, but it was just kind of like, oh well, why not go to a
it was
country
definitely very much like right place, right time. And because I was pushing to get the points I needed to hit the world's threshold, whereas most other people had already kind of hit it at that point, so they weren't really pushing it hard. And it just so happened to be a period where I was playing right at the top of my game, so I was winning a lot of locals as well, which was very helpful.
Yeah, and I think that's what travel awards should go to, the people that are playing really well. Obviously, location is in being in Perth, we do have quite a few locals, but if you're playing really well, you're getting all the points, then you want the top of players of your area, or Oceania in particular here, to represent and do well. But we had that one international tournament before we headed into the Oceania regional. So I kind of want to know, before we dip into Oceania, what were the goals for you guys heading into this particular season? Because some of you guys, like you've mentioned in the previous Melbourne regionals and other things, that you had different placings. All of you have been very successful to get to this point. Was that the goal, or was there something else in between? We'll start with Greg.
So I think after last year, where there was a CP threshold, I sort of looked at things, and I was actually registered in the US because I registered just with the address I had when I created the account. And so there was no way I was going to get the point threshold here. So I actually created a new account at the last minute at the beginning of this season, so that I could attempt to try to qualify, right? I did okay at the end of the season last year with some of the locals. And I felt like if I just sort of pushed a little bit, I could maybe give myself a chance at the very least. And then they changed the rule and I really didn't think I had a chance because I looked at the numbers and you kind of needed to sort of top 16, I think, at 2 regionals to make it, whereas last year you could kind of do a lot with locals. So I was a little bit bummed at the beginning of the season, but I kind of went on a tear early. There were a few really good players in Melbourne that sort of didn't come to any locals, so it was a little bit of a void for me. So I started to rack up some local wins and cups and things, and so I made the call about a week before Perth to go to Perth, um, and it worked out. And we'll get into those and everything, but that was my mindset was I wanted to try, and then I really didn't think I had a chance, and then it sort of snuck up on me, so I sort of went for it. So
That's cool. I like that. A little bit more, by the seat of your pants, a little bit more reactive, waiting and seeing how things go. And as you said, it obviously worked out. And I'm sure that your mindset sort of, let's say, shifted a bit more confident as the season went on.
definitely, yeah.
To say the least.
Well, and I had applied to be a professor, and that's why I couldn't change my account details. So I had to create a new account and then apply to be a professor here and yada yada. So I've done all that stuff, but yeah, I was very hesitant. But yeah, like I said, it ended up working out. So
yeah, 100%. And what about you, Godzilama? What was your, I guess, goal going into the 2025 season?
So, but 2025, yes, was definitely try to get qualified for Worlds, so finish top 10. Compared with 2024, I wasn't able to focus of the championship. I was too busy at work, and so I didn't participate in any challenge cup. I remember I did two regional, but I could do it. But yeah, this year I back to the East Coast, so I get more time to focus on it. To participate, Perth, Brisbane, Melbourne, and a lot of local as well. So yeah, I get all my chance and try to get my goal. So satisfactory. So I'm very happy for that. And yeah, that's it. That was my goal for 2025.
Yeah, fair enough. From the get-go, aiming for that world spot, which is definitely cool as well. And
Yes.
what about you, Jack? What was your, goal? I mean, I suppose again heading into South Africa, South America, but then also heading into the rest of the season.
Yep. So kind of at the start of the season, I was like, well, I did pretty well at Worlds, or better than I was hoping. So I was like, well, I'm happy with that. I was like, well, I got this trip to South America. I'll go see how I do. If I don't get points, that's like the universe telling me, you've had your fun, you've had some trips traveling the world, playing video game. Now it's back to, real life and not traveling the world playing video games and getting money from it. So yeah, I ended up not getting those points. So after that, I kind of re-established as well. Well, don't care. Just gonna go with the flow and do what I want to do and play like I'm not bothered about what's happening and not really try to aim for anything in it. I kind of worked out by the end of that that's when things go well. If I actually care about the results and I'm really focusing on a goal, then I play much, much worse.
Yeah, to put it in another way that many other players have put it is the more fun you're having, sometimes the better you perform as well.
So more basties is what I'm hearing. But yeah, it's really interesting. I think all very different goals from everyone. It sounds like it, and again, all paid off to get to this point. And now we're just going to delve into the regionals. So the first regional of the Oceania season, we're back in Perth because Perth was back to back. So you're all this way. So hi. And you guys, hi Steve. And it was I think it was a good platform for all of you guys because I believe everyone did got points on the board. So Greg, do you want to talk about your performance in Perth and your run?
Yeah, so going to Perth, my goal was CP, right? You don't fly across the country, sort of, as I stated, with a goal in mind to qualify for Worlds without going for that. So top 16 was really my goal. In terms of the game, my first game Bam Boss caught like a miracle catch in game 3 to knock me immediately down into the losers bracket in the first round. So that was real tough because I knew I needed to win sort of three matches in a row in the winners bracket. And again, this was my second big tournament, so I had kind of just been to Melbourne the year before, and then this one. And the worst part was the way the tournament worked. I got bumped back to losers round 1 somehow after getting a bye. So I basically started as far in the back as you can, and I think it actually was good for the nerves because I just had to sort of lock in. I ended up playing, I think, 2 locals back to back in the next 2 rounds, and I did okay. I don't know if it was what the scores were, but I won those a little bit easier. Then I played a couple of pretty good battlers, so I think I beat Marty Craw he was in New Zealand at the time. He came over with Yusei, and that was 2-1. That was really tight. Like came down to a farm down. And then I think I beat Jins to get to top 8.
Yeah.
And that was close. I know he had just lost to get knocked down, and I think he had a little bit of he was a little not with it. I think he was a little stressed out in that match, so that unfortunately for him worked to my advantage because he was playing really good that day. But I took Jins out, and then I had to play Adam or Avrip, and that was rough. We went to game 3, and I overtapped on a move and could have had him, kind of thing. So that was actually good for the confidence of like I played well. I got better. I did better than I thought. I finished tied for 7th. So I was very happy with that. But I was, as this theme will be repeating, disappointed in how I went out with the overtap because I could have been top 6.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, we'll get into that later, I'm sure. But yeah, overall, very happy with that. Top 8, came away with a little bit of prize money, double the CP of what I was expecting, basically. So very happy with my performance in Perth. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, really good, solid, right? And like you said, you in the besides being knocked down into losers first round is always difficult. It is a very hard mental shift, and but you went 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 against Mardi Gras 2-1, Jin's 2-0, and I think that's huge. And going to against previous regional Perth champion Avrip and going like 1-2. That's a confidence builder in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that was the moment where I said I'm going to Brisbane, I'm going to qualify. That was kind of when it clicked. Like I got enough CP and the confidence was there with how well I thought I did. So yeah.
Great. Okay. And now we'll move on to Godzilama. Godzilama, do you remember your Perth regional run? Tell me about it.
Yes, of course. So same as Greg, my goal was top 16, try to get points for World. Actually was a good beginning, round 1, round 2, and I lost again G. So I think it was round 3 or round 4? Round 4?
So this one was Perth. Yep. So you went against Hawk Aussie in your first match, then Sammy P.
Sammy P. I was very, very
excellent.
close with the Typhlosion, I remember.
Yeah.
I won 2-1 against him. Was Mandibus at the end, again my Gastrodont, and I won CMP at the end. So was very, very tough battle. And lost against G. I just got RPS twice against this Stunfix. I was running Fortress Shadow, so wasn't my best pick. I used to practice a lot before Perth. I remember Inadequance run it in regional. It did very well, so I'd say okay, I have to try. So it was good. I like it, and of course, I want to back to this battle again. Zeetarb loser bracket. So I still don't know how I lose that, but I remember was Mandibus again your Cresselia lead, and you swap with Gastrodon again my Mandibus. I lost, so GG, congrats again. So yeah, it was good, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so the run was like Hawk Aussie, Sammy P, They Love Jai, and then
There was
Zeetarb. So
Zeetarb, yes.
again, They Love Jai, who came second again in Perth Regional, and then we'll lead on to Zeetarb's run in Perth Regional shortly. But again, it's it's so difficult. I think Perth is very condensed in although smaller amount of players, very condensed in the quality. So sometimes it's a bit of a luck of the draw if obviously we have seeding now, but in the beginning when we didn't have seeding, it's just kind of like oh
And
no.
Sammy P has no regionals, so he wouldn't be seeded. You know what I mean? So that's a tough draw to get Sammy in the second round.
Yeah.
I'm actually now looking at it. Is it possible that everyone that qualified for Worlds from Oceania, not including me, played in Perth? Because it actually might have been like mega
Vish
stacked.
didn't.
Vish, you're right.
No.
Vish didn't.
Yeah, Vish didn't.
Yeah, Vish didn't play. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been the only
I think
one.
everyone else did though.
Yeah, so I think it was actually crazy stacked, which really says a lot. And even like, after you go past 10, you see a few more past that, 11th, 12th, 13th, I think all played as well. So very, very stacked tournament for sure. But Zeetarb, as the sort of Perth local, someone that didn't have to pay for a hotel to compete in this tournament, how'd the tournament run go for you?
Yep. So kind of going into it, I was like, you know what, YOLO. I'm going to use the team that's a ridiculous team that I was going to use in LAIC because it seemed to be working, but I chickened out of. And I was practicing with it beforehand, and I won like 2 or 3. I think I won 2 tournaments and came second in another 2 in the Inadequates practice server. And I was like, oh, meeting some good players with this team, so maybe this is sensible. Unfortunately, that would be my downfall later on in the tournament. But yeah, but also my Perth run is at this tournament is the one I go to point to when people say, "Oh, Australian regionals are easier." It's like, man, I had 6 battles and 4 of them were against regional champions, and another one was against the guy who's always sitting quite. Whenever he plays, he's sitting on the leaderboard quite high up as well. So it's like, it was not easy. These runs are not easy. These were very hard battles. So first up, everyone's talking about this one player flew in from Japan who's just like a really gun player. They're number 1 on the GBO leaderboard over and over. And because of the way seeding works, they can never be seeded. They're always unseeded. So if you have a decently high seeding like I did, that means you get to face them. So round 1, I was facing them, and I was like, oh, okay, that's just everyone's going on and on. They can't be that good. So, went and played them. And the first game, I basically had it. I think I had a pretty decent team comp advantage with my team. But the first game ended up being a dispute on my side, actually, because there was lag with a kind of a desync CMP where I tried to CMP the Dragonite, and not only did it not lock in, it didn't. It allowed him to throw his move, then swap, and then fired my charge move, which anything but that, and the game was a guaranteed win for me. So I was kind of bummed about that, but then I won the next 2 pretty comfortably. So I was pretty okay with that, and I was like, okay, that's good. Then
so for those that don't know, that was Pokemon Maker, FYI.
I heard the Dragonite and I was like, yeah.
Yeah. And then round 2, I came up against Lalu Loha, who, if you watched this podcast last year, you might remember we faced in that year as well. And he lost game 2 by catching a Stone Edge on an Altaria, which was a terrible play. And he's never let me forget it. And he blames me for it, but it's like, that was your fault. We'd actually battled the night before in the in Inadequates practice tournaments, and I nearly dropped out of the tournament just before that because I was afraid. I had a feeling that we were going to get paired up, and in that he was just super worried about the Cresselia, and I was like, whatever, I'll just lead Cresselia twice, and just like nearly swept him 1 versus 3, and so he'd kind of prepared for my team and had a strategy to adapt for it, and this was something I wasn't used to. No one's prepared for my teams before. No one cared what I was doing. They're like, we'll just show up and beat him. So having to deal with that was kind of a new experience. And he played very well and got the 2-1. That knocked me down to losers. So I kept running more and more ridiculous lines because I was thinking, I wasn't really that bothered about the results, so I was just like, you know what, I'm going to try and just run some super aggressive lines. Like I think Bragio had a Meganium, so I was like, you know what, I'll lead Gastrodon with Azu in the back, because there's no way he leads Meganium, because if he leads into Talonflame, it's instant game over. So he's going to be cautious. I'll be ridiculous. And game one leads the Meganium into the Gastrodon. So this was kind of the story of a lot of my battles. So I won that one. And then I paired up against Rick Flareon, who the year before beat me and knocked me down into the losers bracket after I, threw one of the games, and then he just beat me comprehensively in the others. So I had been playing him quite a bit online, and it was kind of going a bit more 50-50. So I'd kind of realized that, he is in fact a human and not impossible to win against. So
Blasphemy.
that was kind of, and it was very close battle, but I think I kind of got the right mons in the right place, and I did think I had a bit of a team comp advantage into his team as well. With I think Guzzlord Cress was a very strong combo in that tournament, and then I won that, and then got onto Godzilama, which I think we'd been scrimming before quite a bit before, and then the lead up to LAIC as well, and it was always very 50-50 and very, very close. It hasn't been quite that close lately, and in his favor, I think he's been winning a lot more than losing lately, but in that lead up, we'd have been all very close, and I think it was 1-1, and they were kind of very close matchups. And I'd used Azu a couple of times, so my theory was he's probably going to expect I lead Azu because I've done this trick a few times. So then I'm like, he'll never leave Mandibuzz, because if he leads Mandibuzz into Azu, there's no way he can come back from it. It's game 3. He's going to go with the safe lead. So he's never leaving Mandibuzz. So I'll lead my Future Sight Cresselia, have Gastrodon on the back, and this will cover everything else in his team really well.
And
instantly,
no Azu.
Yep. And instantly that Mandibuzz in the lead, and I'm like, well, tournament's over. So I was like, well, Cress is bad here. I'll just swap Gastrodon and I can body slam it, I guess. And about 3 or 4 of my friends were sitting over my shoulder watching a battle. And as soon as they saw the lead and then the swap, they were just like, it's done, and walked away. And then afterwards, they're up to me and I'm like, I'm so sorry. He got knocked out. What do you mean I won? I'm like, what? I think it was just the shock of no one would swap a Gastrodon into a Mandibuzz. It's like, and I think you had one answer for both. So it was trying to, and Mandibuzz can do a lot, but it can't beat both of those. So is my long history of disrespecting Mandibuzz kind of started there. So then I won that one and ended up facing Pokemon Moneymaker again. And he had a very similar team to what Leilu Loha had. So I was kind of thinking, they're going to make probably the same type of adjustment and really lean into Annihilate. And he didn't. He made a completely different adjustment and beat me 2-0. And it was kind of, but both him and Leilu Loha were kind of preparing had spent quite a bit of time, or especially, I think I realized later he'd been on calls kind of all day trying to work out how he could get around my team. And I was like, I'm not used to players this good bothering to prepare for me. I was like, maybe I should have spent more time preparing for them instead of just sitting around, just not doing anything. So in hindsight, that was quite a good learning. But yeah, so I ended up, I think top 7 was where I finished, which was not as good. It's paradoxically not as good a result as the year before, but I feel like I played much better and I had I think a much stronger run in terms of who I'd faced over that run and the results I'd gotten. 4 regional champions is it's not an easy run, no matter what you say.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about it before, but the Perth regional in this season was very much, a lot of the Titans were heading to that losers bracket really early, and so it was a very champion-filled losers bracket for sure. It was you'd much prefer to be in the winners bracket than the losers bracket, and it sort of sounds like Godzilama might have been the only one to really enjoy that privilege for very long at all. But
I think one thing I noticed with that Perth regional is, and it's probably held true for the other 2 Aussie regionals this kind of season, is that home court advantage has been really, really big. Like, you see the people who are playing at home have massively outperformed at their kind of home regional, and you can kind of see it. Everyone's kind of best performance is generally at home.
This
Yeah.
year, this year I
Yeah.
reckon has been.
Yeah.
Last year, I think it was a bit of a mix, but yeah, this year.
Yeah, I think there was like four Perth players in the top 5. Sorry.
Yeah, Perth
Wow.
really crushed the Perth players. Really did really well in Perth this year.
Yeah. Flames, Jai, who were first and second. Avrip, who I think was like
Top
Fourth.
four, yeah.
fourth.
Mm-mm.
Lalu Loha, who is equal fifth, and
Wow.
myself equal seventh. All Perth
Yeah.
locals. So it was a big
Yep.
result for the locals.
Pretty solid.
That's
And
what
then one of these
that's
other
what
guys
happens.
snuck in. That's but
I was gonna
look,
say that's what happens with Perth back to back. It's like they already had their run like, a few months back, so they're like,
Yeah.
oh, let's do it again.
Perth power charged up. Just because I have the graphic in front of me from the start of the Brisbane stream, which was the next regional championship, I've got the sort of championship point and leaderboard sort of snapshotted at the beginning of Brisbane, which doesn't quite capture immediately after Perth. Obviously, there's a few months of locals in between. But heading into Brisbane, all three of you were in the top 11, and Godzilama was only 11th by 1 championship point. So, like, you were sort of all in that, I guess, world's qualification zone heading into that second tournament. And so I guess, Greg, will sort of, I guess, just keep the cycle going round and round and around. Come back to you heading into Brisbane. I mean, how are you feeling, and how did you sort of, I guess, what were you looking for in this tournament? And then, how did it go?
Yeah, so Brisbane, again, my goal in each of these was CP, right? So top 16 was the goal. So going into it, I really did not feel comfortable in the meta. I think it was the week. It was the first week of the full new meta, maybe. It was early in the previous season, which would have been Mastery.
It was like midway through March, but there was only like one tournament before that actually used the meta, something like that.
And it was a pretty big change. It was a shift in the meta. It was I was not comfortable with the meta at all. I saw there was a couple of quirky things that I wanted to try, so I had like a Spiritomb on my team, just because it was the first time Spiritomb was relevant, and I happened to just trade for a good one, so I sort of tried to throw that in there. I just think I wasn't as prepared. I didn't have enough time on task with the Pokemon I wanted to play. I think the team like meshed fine in terms of what it covered and how it worked, but I just wasn't prepared for anything that was not exactly the Pokemon that you see all the time, right? So I think this was a struggle of a tournament for me actually too. My first round was against somebody who, this might have been the first time they played in a regional. He was a young kid, probably a teenager, and he was fine. He definitely played a lot of GBL, maybe played in some other local things, but just wasn't a very competitive player. It was his first tournament. Then I had
can
a
see he's
no-show.
registered five.
Oh, he has.
He registered 5 Pokemon.
Oh yeah, he
as well.
registered 5 Pokemon. That's right. Yeah, he registered 5 Pokemon. He definitely knew his types and things, but it wasn't that competitive. So I just ran an ABB team both times and just kind of went through, and it wasn't so bad. But then the second round, I had a no-show. So again, I sat there for 20 minutes. No one showed up, and then I was done. And then the third round, I played Valiant Fish. So being not comfortable with the team and anything like that, it was a kind of a struggle for that to be my first real competitive match. And Vish ran some off meta movesets at the very least. I know he ran Weezing with Overheat. He had a Gudra, which I wasn't completely prepared for. He had a couple other and he ran the Skull Bash. Yeah, he ran and Pangoro, and he ran the Skull Bash on Lapras, which made my Lapras a lot less useful. And so I just didn't really prepare for that team, and anything off of the norm was tough. So Vish got the better of me. I think I could have maybe made one bait call and had a chance to win game 2, but I felt like he was really kind of just dancing around with the energy, and he completely outplayed me, and I wasn't ready for it. So that dropped me into the losers bracket. And I think I needed to win one match to get to the top 16. So I played against a local. And I think the other thing about a lot of these tournaments in Brisbane and Melbourne in particular, someone, I forget who said it, but there were like landmines everywhere. There were a lot of local players that weren't seeded. They don't play in all the locals, but they're really good, right? or they're rising. You know, like Sammy P is one of those. Sammy P is really good, and I play him later. And this isn't him yet, but I played. I think his name's Adam Ad Buster
Yes.
or
Yeah.
Ads Buster.
Mhm.
And that was 2-0, but it was tight. We actually had a simultaneous KO in one of them, so it was a really close match. I think the first two games were really close, and I just happened to get the team comp advantage in game three. Um, and I guess it was technically game two because of the simultaneous KO. But those were really tight. But that got me to top 16, so I kind of could breathe a little bit and was happy with that. And then I played Sammy P in the next round, and Sammy P is just like my kryptonite. I don't think I've ever won against him in any of these online tournaments we play. Even when I look at the team later and I have a complete advantage, and somehow I miss that one of my Pokemon beats 5 of his or whatever it is. So he had a clay doll. I forget what else he had, but I just remember the end of my tournament was he got his clay doll onto my Clodsire, and that was a wrap. And it was like the only thing I didn't want to see, and it was there, and that's just kind of how my matches go with Sammy P. So that was a little bit disappointing in terms of I felt like I was playing better, but I just didn't prepare. That was on me, and I could have done better. So top 16 was still good, so kept me in contention. And yeah, so again, happy with the CP, and the top 16 was the goal, but I felt like I could have done better in that tournament if I was a little bit more prepared. But early in the meta, I think nobody really knew how I was going to shake out, and I just didn't make the right calls. So
Yeah, fair enough. Now, I'm going to go a little bit out of order just because we have one of the champions for this one. So I'm going to skip Godzilama for this one for a moment. We're going to go to Z. Tell me about your Brisbane run.
Yeah, so I wasn't intending to go to Brisbane. I was like, yeah, whatever. I've done my tournament. I've been to Worlds. It's fine. But then one of my friends was getting married not long before it in New South Wales. So I was like, well, you know what? I got some prize money in Perth. I could fly over, go to the wedding. I've never been to Brisbane, never been to Queensland, so I can fly up, go on a bunch of hikes, explore. I ended up exploring like Tamborine Mountain, Springbrook Valley, and a few of the other national parks up north as well that weren't impacted by the hurricane that had hit just before then. So I figured, what the hell, make a trip out of it. That was a lot of fun, and it was cool seeing all those different areas. The actual region itself was not a super great experience for me, even though I did end up quite a decent result. I think I ended up ninth. First round was a no show, which was unfortunate, but is what it is. I thought they had quite a solid team, so I was very surprised that they didn't show up. But yeah, in the lead up to the tournament, I could not build a team to save my life. Anything I built that I thought I was like, Dad, this is the team that's going to work. I would lose every match except to Mikey Morgs, who somehow found a way to lose to every team I was running in practice tournaments. And it just, team after team, he would lose to it, like hard counters after hard counters. It was incredible. And again, like the last time, not the first time practice tournaments came back to bite me, but I had one team that I thought was just garbage, but I kept winning with it. So I was like, well, I'm not going to question this. I'll just go with this team that is, it feels terrible to use, but I keep winning with it. So yeah, my second round was against Mirko Asylum, who has been doing a lot of Devon battles and very, very good in the Devon format. I think he's like top 15 at the end of the last season in the leaderboard. So, and he started to convert that to play Pokemon format as well, I think. But I noticed my team had a couple of really strong core breakers versus his. I think Dusclops in particular was, before it was everywhere. I was kind of using it in that tournament because I wanted a bulky fighting resist basically. So that was kind of it was a hard matchup for him because I had two very safe Pokemon that I knew he couldn't really punish. So that's how that. And then I think the next match was about 3 hours later. We kind of just, and no one would tell me what was happening. So I was just kind of, can I eat lunch? Can I go to the bathroom? Like, what can I do? I was kind of, every time I asked like the judges or someone, they're like, oh yeah, it's definitely soon. Just wait here. And then, actually I finally I'd eaten some lunch and then, went to the bathroom, and then someone's like, oh, they're about to give you a timeout penalty for not showing up. It's like, man, I've been gone 2 minutes. But ended up that was against KSK Thug, who is quite a good battler who flew in from Japan and a super nice guy. It was really great battling him. And I battled him after that as well, and he's he's always really nice. And our kind of team comps ended up really strong into each other. I think we both had Guzzlord, and Guzzlords were both really strong into our teams, but mine won CMP, so that just was devastating for him. I think he didn't really have a way to come back from that. So he made it very close. It was 2-1 in the end, and came down to kind of fast moves. But that CMP was kind of super critical. Then ended up facing Mikey Morgs, who couldn't buy a win before the tournament, except with one team. He got me with one team in a practice tournament, and that was the team he was running for the regional. That was the team I was running for the regional. And the worst part is the battle probably went exactly the same way as the practice tournament, where I won the first, and then he came back to pull games 2 and 3. So, and kind of continuing with the theme of like revenge for previous years, I'd beaten him at Perth the year before. So it was kind of all the matches I'd had in Perth the year before have kind of flip-flopped in this season. And then, so after that, ended up in losers against Sammy P. And there was some, he gave me a team sheet, and I was like, man, I got such a hard team comp advantage into this team. This is going to be awesome. And then his battle starts, and there's a jump off. I'm like, the hell is this doing here? This isn't on the team.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Turns out he'd given me Greg's team sheet.
I forgot about that. After he knocked me out, we never traded them back. I totally forgot that happened. Oh man.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what happened with that then?
So somehow that ended up. We would talk to the judges to figure out what do we do. So they somehow that ended up into me almost getting a game loss penalty for taking too long to lock in. I was like, wait, it's kind of backwards, but that. And I it's one thing I need to work on is my composure in situations like that, because it kind of threw me, and I kept thinking there was a one Pokemon on Greg's team I was worried about. I kept thinking, oh man, I gotta hold out for this one in the back end, because I know it's coming in the back, and it's like wasn't even on Sammy's team at all. I was just like had that.
You're waiting for the Spiritomb.
Yeah, right. With a Togetic or something
Being
wild.
the one I was waiting for.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that tournament.
Yeah, still in 9th as well, which hey, sort of got points on
missed
the
prize money again, but it was and I ended up finishing ahead of the other battlers who flew over from Perth, which was confusing because they were playing a lot better than me in the lead up.
Sometimes that's just how it rolls. I think it's this particular tournament, as you mentioned, you versed a Japanese player, and I feel like Perth we had a couple, but like Brisbane, I felt like was the showing of international players coming in. So I guess that's a good segue into Godzilama's run of Brisbane Regional. So unfortunately, we didn't get to interview post Brisbane Regionals on the podcast. So now we're doing it here, and we're doing it now. So let's go through your run of Brisbane Regional, champion.
All right, so I think first Perth was my best performance since Brisbane. So first, my goal was far away to be a Brisbane regional champion. I tried to do better, so was top 8. That was my goal. So I work very hard before. I remember ask my manager to get a few days off before to make sure to get time of my team composition. So I practice a lot with Flames, who won Perth. So he helped me a lot to build my team. So that was a huge help for me. So first about my team composition was Swalot, Chargerbug, Talonflamme, Malamar, where I run a lot in PvP, Azu, and Guzzlord. So first I remember watch the last America Regional, whose nickname won the regional. So I follow a little bit this team. I really like this team composition with Talonflamme, Swalot, and Guzzlord. So I try to build a team around. And I really like it. And I really like the Charge Bug as well, because a lot trainer was running double water and grass type. So I say, okay, I have to try charger bug, and I think I was the only one maybe running in Brisbane. Not 100% sure, but I think I was the only one. So my first game, I think, was someone who was the first regional as well. I remember she was running Prime Shadow with a frustration or other Pokemon with one move. So yeah, it was definitely, I
Oh.
think, a first regional. Second game was playing against Mr. Lay 97, who won again the can't remember.
Hughes, right? Did he took down someone? I can't
Yeah,
Ishikawa
remember.
boy?
he
Was that?
was
Cowboy.
he
Yeah,
was on
that's right.
live.
Yes,
It was the first live
yes,
actually.
yes.
So I watched the battle and he played very good with his Blastoise, I remember. But he was same running double water, so my charger bug was, I think, very safe. Remember, he was running Drapion and Blastoise. So yeah, I run a ABB against Drapion both game, and remember did a massive swap catch in the game 2 that gave me the game. After in game 3, I play again Bright Tuski.
Yeah, Brodowski. Yep.
Bradowski, yes, so was on live. So I was um, good. I get a good feeling because he was very weak against my Swalot. So I try to just save shield against my Swalot, play Malamar lead, and remember he was Talonflamme lean and he throws a Brave Bird instead to do the fly, so I shield and I could just farm down, so it was very useful for me. Swallowed, and he was running Cloudside, so yes, I think Swallowed was very good and safe against it. Game 3 was Yetenua from Korea, if I remember.
Yeah,
Yetenua.
we had Freezing Sun before Yotaruna,
From
which was
from
also
Canada,
yeah.
yes. So yes, I
Yes,
remember this game. So same, he was running, I think, water Gator Shadow. So that was the only problem for my Talonflamme. But my Talonflamme was very safe. So I think what my strategy was, just save the shield, get the shield advantage, and keep my shield for Talonflamme. So I run as you lead. Both game was as you lead again Gator, so I get the shield advantage, and my Talonflamme was safe on the back. So how I won both game, and after that, so was Yetenura from Korea.
Yeah.
So she play, I think, remember double water was Gator Shadow and Swampert. So no way she will see my Talonflamme, and I just get a good instant and run Talonflamme lead. So was Talonflamme again Ariados, and on the back she was running Slash. So it was just RPS. RPS, yeah, just Talonflamme, just I mean, she swap again Swampert, I swap with my Guzzlord, just keep alignment again against the Swampert, and my Talonflamme just was, yeah, just RPS again, Ariados and Slash. So was 2-0, and after that, so round 5, I play again Choose from Japan. So same. I think I get a lot of luck because every opponent I play was on everyone with double water. So I think my charger bug same was a good strategy composition of my team. But I actually didn't win it. I think Malamar was my safe play again. Malamar. So I think was a few game was Malamar again Cloudside. So I think I didn't play very well because I just play the zero shield and just let it go. So that I think was one of my mistake I changed in the grand final, but yeah, I think that was one of my mistakes to don't play the zero shield. As you, it was always Sableye. Yeah, Sableye. He was playing Sableye Shadow. Uh, was very very tough for me. Again, Malamar who lost the CMP, so I think as you was the best option. Um, yeah, and I think yeah, Guzlord helped me a lot as well, who gave me the win in game 5 in the grand final. And I remember one catch against the Lapras. So when I was the last game 2-2, I threw my crunch and swapped directly to Azu and get the catch to Ice Beam. So I think that was massive and massive for me. And yeah, just farm down the Lapras with Azu because he has nothing, no answer. Was Cloudsa with Stone Edge, so was not a good answer. And on the back was of course Sableye. So hey, my Guzlord Malamar I think was what I use the most in the tournament, and give me the trophy at the end. Um, so yes, I just compare with Spurs or other regional. I just practice a lot, a lot. I think was the key, and of course get more time as well. So yeah, that's it. Very very happy. I was very proud because I knew it was a very tough field. A lot of people from overseas was coming. But yeah, I did my best, and I was very very confident about my team composition. And I think during this regional, I get a very good reading as well. Very good reading, and my instant as well was good. So hopefully it will happen the same in world. Let's see.
Yeah, and just like that, become one of the I guess Australian champions to go into the history books, winning the tournament in a really cool fashion as well. I mean, I remember casting the grand finals, and your battles with Choose were just so incredibly back and forth and dynamic, and it was going all over the place.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
anyone
yes.
might be able to win. Although, as you said, Game 5 was in some sense anticlimactic. So it was like, oh, I think the whole time Stumpy was like, oh, give him the trophy, it's over.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. It's
But
like with Zeetarb, we like swap. It's always a tough game.
yeah, but we also spoke before the Melbourne Regional Championships. We recorded a little, video to play on the stream, and you mentioned then that you credit a lot to the amount of practice that you were doing for Brisbane, and it really does sound like at the end of the day that was really the just a
Yeah,
huge feather in your cap.
yeah. I practice compare with Perth and Melbourne. Melbourne, I came in Melbourne with I say less pressure. But yeah, Brisbane, I just prepare myself very hard for this regional. Um, just yeah, talk with a lot of people from overseas. Try to do a private uh, battle and ask always like opinion about my team. If it's better to do that, do you think it's better to do that? And that yeah helped me a lot. And
Yeah, I think it's a good way to approach it for sure. And I guess that does bring us into the final regional of the season for Oceania. And I guess I'll start with setting the scene in that at this point, all three of you are like going in with like such good a spot on the leaderboard. I mean, almost like you'd feel pretty safe, I imagine, going into Melbourne. And I mean, like Zeetarb, I guess, as the guy who didn't actually compete in Melbourne, I guess two-part question. First of all, how safe were you feeling for your Worlds invite? And then second, I guess, in that, why did you not compete in Melbourne? Or, was it a safety thing, or was it just a look? Let's hope.
So I was not feeling safe at all. I was pretty much given up on the world spot at that point because I'd done the maths and I realized at first I talked to a certain Newcastle-based battler who had given me a very shenanigans-based answer with non-committal things on various how my spot should feel. So I kind of realized he had things planned. I got it wrong what he had planned,
Oh.
but I knew there was something afoot. So I was like, I'm going to count him as someone who's going to overtake me. And then I kind of from there I did the maths, and if both Yusei and Sammy P ended up top 8, even if Steve didn't do anything, I was out. So if Steve does do something, then I end up out if only one of them does. And I thought, well, they're both quite good battlers. Yusei struggled a bit in Perth, I think, but otherwise he's, always doing well on like leaderboards and things. And Sammy P had finished, I think, like 9th in Perth, and then he'd come up again to finish, 7th or 5th or something in Brisbane. So I was like, well, I don't think I should. I wouldn't be betting against both of these two to kind of miss out on a top 8. So I'd effectively given up on a world spot, and I was like, I would have liked to compete in Melbourne, but I was kind of working an extra day at work at the time, and it was just didn't have any leave left, so I would have just been flying in, doing the tournament, and flying out, and that's never been the recipe for success for me. It's always like in Brisbane, I had a whole massive holiday plan, so this was just kind of an afterthought, and I did better. When I've actually cared and tried, didn't do as well. So I thought if I was just flying in for a tournament and being like, I'm here to get a good result and leave, then I was thinking, well, I probably won't enjoy it, and I won't do as well. So I kind of just didn't end up going, which sounds like I missed a fun time, which is unfortunate.
I think that you've although you didn't go to Melbourne, I'm impressed at the most efficient and economical run that a Worlds player has this season.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about being the most thriftiest, yours is definitely. I mean, like being
He did go to
auto-qualified helps.
South America.
Yeah, but he got paid. He got a travel
Yeah.
award for that. Yeah,
That's
but
right,
as in like the most economical to get qualified for Worlds this season. I think you've got the best run.
You might be right. Yeah.
Yours is out of Steve. You're the other side. Okay. Look, let's not talk about that.
Yeah. Look, I'll take the least economical medal. That's fine.
Well, I think Zeetarb, I think you and Vish are the only two that only played in 2 regionals. I mean, I guess you played in LAIC, but you didn't get any CP there. But you were the only two that played in 2 regionals and got CP in those 2 regionals and qualified, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess Vish actually takes the medal for the most economical because he's also on the East Coast. So he didn't have to fly very far to the one he had to fly for. I guess.
That's true. But he had to work harder in the tournaments because he got
That's
further.
right.
No offense, Zeetarb.
Yeah, Vish definitely put it all on the line to make sure he could get that qualification for sure. But that is interesting. I mean, and Zeetarb, we were both doing very similar math about what might happen in the Melbourne Regional Championship. So, obviously ended up working out for you, and you weren't even at the bottom of the leaderboard by the end. But I guess we can talk about that a little later. But
Sure, I think I am the very last spot.
Really?
On the,
oh, actually, did Jins get? Oh, I think Jins got points at NAIC. Actually, now that
Yeah,
he got top
but during that
128.
period of time, Jin was looking like right at the
end.
end.
He was also on the dicey list. Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, well, look,
I guess technically Flames is slightly lower than me because he just showed up, won a tournament, and then basically
actually
that might be the most efficient. Yeah,
didn't get on one plane. That's very fair. Let's actually do something. I know that we haven't heard from Greg for a while, but I think similar to how we skipped Godzilama till the end, I think we'll save Greg's run as the sort of I guess very deep run of Melbourne. So Godzilama, do you sort of want to give us a little bit of a breakdown of obviously you'd already gained the automatic qualification for Worlds. So what were your sort of, I guess, motivations and feelings, and then your run going through Melbourne?
I will say, I mean, it's a lie if I say same as Jacob. Of course, I wanted to try to do 2 regionals straight, but was not the case. Actually, it was very bad in Melbourne. I think my team composition was good. I play definitely better than me. El Calismo from America playing double fire. And yeah, it just beat me very easily. Uh, yeah, just about my game. So game one, I get a bye. I think actually
Yeah.
round one, I get the bye.
Mhm.
Round two was exactly the same team than Nighttime Clasher. So I knew remember how to play it, and I was playing two ground type, was Stunfix and um, Diggersby. Diggersby.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
Um, so yeah, was 2-0 for me. In round three, so I play El Smo running double fire. So
Mhm.
I remember game one, it was my jump love shadow against this ground type. I know I won the zero shield scenario, but I know talent. Um, how this like, sorry, I can't remember the name. The Typhlosion was on the back, so I wanted
Ah.
to play the I wanted to lose zero shield and use my
Mhm.
Lapras and just farm down and try to
Yeah.
get more charge and to this Typhlosion, but it was a huge mistake because it was actually Serpior on the back. So
Yep.
was not a good strategy for me. And game two, we just play Typhlosion Shadow again, Lapras, and I play the two shield, and it just swap again Azumarill, and I don't have answer again Azumarill on the back. I was running Malamar and Jump Love Shadow with zero shield, so I was almost doing the top left actually. So it was, yeah, very well played. I remember I think he won again a lot. Every good player from Australia. It was, yeah. It was not a good moment for me, but like I said, I didn't came less. I came with less pressure.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, my goal, of course, is always do better than before. Better than before was actually did try to do like as a Jacob did the year before. Um, of course, unfortunately, no, but yeah, was always a good experience to play again team like you don't accept like team with double fire. You, I think, was the first
Mm.
time I see that in PvP in
Yeah.
championship. So yeah, it was a good strategy to him, and I think he did very well. Top four, I think, or top two, top two,
Yeah.
yeah,
Game
top
set.
two. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was it
Yeah.
was very good. Yeah,
Yeah, no, no. It's I think it's nice to go into a tournament without the pressure, and it also allows you to experiment a little bit as well. But it also, the other side is that because you don't have that pressure, you just kind of like it's like less of that drive at the same time. So, but again, like you said, you wanted to do a Jakobovic, like a Jacob,
yeah, I mean,
where
yeah.
you wanted to go back to back as well. So, unfortunately, it didn't happen this time round. But hey, look. Another season's already started, so I have high hopes for you.
Next time I will put more pressure on myself. I
Yeah,
will
yeah,
try.
yeah. That's all right. I'll be behind you and be like, pressure, pressure.
Yes.
It's kind of the exact opposite of how I play. Like you feel like you need pressure to play, and I'm like, no, no pressure. The more pressure, the worse I play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe so. I
yeah,
think the opposite. I need pressure. I need it.
yeah. It's as I going through all these like Road to Worlds interviews, it's really interesting to see how people tick, like what their mindset needs to be to get to a certain point. And I think with your Brisbane run, you were practicing heaps, you were really comfortable with your team, and you were just on a roll, like you were on fire throughout the whole Brisbane time. So I don't know what your prep was leading to Melbourne, but again, that pressure wasn't
Oh,
there. So
I practiced actually enough before Melbourne. Just
mm,
my team composition was actually good, but
mhm.
just battle against stronger than me. That's it.
Yeah,
Was
yeah. Sometimes it's just luck of the draw. Like it doesn't. it's not a reflection on your gameplay. It's just sometimes it's just
Mm,
you know 3 games, right? It just how many seconds that's just it.
it's quick. It's quick.
Um,
Yeah.
it is very very quick and it incinerates. So yeah,
Oh,
that pressure is
it's
hard. Yeah. Talking about incinerate pressure, let's go on to Greg.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of LCAP, that was fun. That was a real good experience. Yeah, so going into Melbourne, again, my goal was top 16. I too was doing the maths, and I think I was 10 points ahead of Jack and Jins. So I really felt like I wasn't safe. So top 16 again was the goal. And so when I looked at the bracket, I saw um, I tried not to look too far ahead. So I actually showed up a little bit late-ish. So I kind of just rolled into my first battle, and that was against someone who I think might have been newer. They were only running single move Pokemon. I think I remember getting like Vigoroth with Bulldoze only into my Mandibuzz, and so I just kind of rolled through that one right like that. I mean, it was fun. We chatted a little bit afterwards. Hopefully they'll make it to a local. I didn't remember to get them into the Discord at that point, but they seemed to have fun. I think their friend was playing as well for the first time, or their friend was playing in another one of the tournaments because they were chatting afterwards.
Yeah.
And then my second round was Terra King, who I've only heard of by reputation. I've heard he's pretty good. I think he plays a little more in Master League, but I've heard of him before. He's a local ish in this area, I believe. So I got a little bit nervous because I was like, all right, I think he was kind of one of those landmines I talked about earlier, someone that doesn't really come up all the time, but is really solid. And so we played, and he had the wrong move on his team sheet. So he threw an Ice Beam that he shouldn't have had into a Mandibuzz. And, we went through, and he ended up getting a first game loss. I think I probably could have won that anyway. It was close, but if he had the right moves, I would have taken that kind of thing. So, but even so, I would have probably shielded that and had a chance. But it was kind of a tricky one, unfortunate for him. And then game 2, I think I just sort of controlled a little bit more, where I just had the right matchups. And then match 3, which is, I knew this was, if I win this, I essentially qualify, because I knew who was there and who wasn't there, and my competition was all behind me. So if I win this, I qualify, and I'm matched up against Rocket Claire, and everyone's telling me we're going to be on stream. So that definitely ramped up the pressure a little bit. I've played Claire a few times in some online tournaments, and she usually beats me in show 6. We randomly get matched up in GBL a lot. Lately, less so, but I think we've played. I keep like a little tab of it because we play so much. And we're about 50-50 when we match up in GBL. But it's like double digits at this point, which is just wild. And I remember that was really intense. Went to game 3. I think in game 3, my Fitbit buzzed like I was in a workout. Like my heart was racing because I knew that I've won that game. I was qualified for Worlds, right? That was kind of where my head was at. So that was definitely like really intense. And I want to say she had a Guzzlord and like a Corviknight on her team, which I was a little nervous about. And I think Guzzlord came in game 3, but I matched it up against, I got the matchups in game 3, but it was really close. It was closer than obviously I would have liked, but really good matchup against Claire. Always fun to play Claire. And then that set me up with playing against Nighttime Clasher, coming from the US. And again, I think at this point he was ranked like top 7 on the global leaderboard. Like he's having a tear of a season. Really, really good player. And he was coming here with the goal to win. We all knew that. He didn't need the CP. He didn't need the travel award. He was here to win this tournament. But I had just qualified for Worlds, so all the pressure was off, right? Like I just kind of got in the zone. I don't even remember the matchups. I remember at one point I miscounted and he got a move off, and I thought I had used my shields, so I like slammed the table because I was upset because I knew if I won this, I won the game. And I didn't know I did that. I didn't know I did that until afterwards when I think it was Spud. I like said something about being competitive. He's like, yeah, you almost broke the table, like something like that. And I was like, oh, did I? Like I had no idea I had showed any emotion. So I was kind of blacked out when I played Nighttime Classic, if I'm being honest. I don't remember much. I think at one
Zone.
point I got my Stunfisk onto his Tinkaton in game 3, and that's when I knew I was good. But I knew I needed to win the lead, and that's why I must have smashed the table, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so that was huge. And then I remember Claire started an Aussie, Aussie, Aussie chant, and half the crowd was like, oi, oi, oi. And the other half the crowd was like, wait, they're both Americans. And then Claire, I heard Claire yell, no, Greg's Australian now, or something like that. So I was officially Greg from Australia from that point on.
Let's go.
So that was fun. It definitely felt like, again, that home court advantage was kind of fun, that Jack was talking about earlier, and I think that helped. But yeah, so that was, again, gravy, because I was not expecting to win that, and I qualified, so I was pretty happy. Just very relaxed the rest of the day. And then I ended up playing Vish again, who I realized that every regional Vish and I have played in together, we have played each other. So that's been fun. I hope he doesn't completely retire this season, so we could keep that track record going. This one was a little frustrating. I think he talked about it in the podcast as well. Game 1, I won. I think I just had the right matchup in the right place, right? There wasn't anything too special. And then game 2, there was a little bit of lag. Rewatching it, I didn't see it exactly, but there was definitely a couple moments where there was like a one-turn type lag situation that was sort of went against Vish. It ended up going into a review, and it was a pretty long review, so it was definitely one of those sort of complicated situations as to whether it affected it or not. And he ended up taking the loss there. So definitely, good sportsmanship on his part. Definitely took that well. And he went on to win a few more rounds in the losers bracket. So he also did pretty well in that tournament, as we talked about. He's pretty efficient with his points this season. So always fun to play against Vish. But yeah, it would have been nice if it was clean and the game was working properly, but nothing we could do about that. So then that brought me into the very unexpected winners final against none other than Pokemoneymaker. And he just danced around me. I don't even think his team was necessarily that much better than mine, or team comp was anything. I think it was pretty even, but he just had all the right things in the right places and just danced, and he was playing out of his mind that day. He beat me 0-3. I think at one point I was forced to switch a Stunfisk into a Credilli because I just had no other option, and people were like, what were you doing? And I was like, well, I couldn't bring the other thing in, and I was ABA weak to it, and I just knew I needed to get rid of it, so yeah, that was a very well played on his part. He just called everything. It was like using my brain, so that was just, I didn't feel like I could do much there. And then the infamous losers final, which was actually super fun to be in. This is another one I feel like I kind of blacked out in because I just was in the zone. And Talonflame and Typhlosion, I had Claude and Stunfisk, so I had answers to all of this stuff. I had Lapras, which is, doesn't do as well into Typhlosion as you'd like, but, it's still there. And yeah, game 1 through 4, I don't really remember anything. Game 5, all I remember is that stupid freaking ferret in the back. And it was tough. I did go back and watch the game. So for those of you that haven't watched, there was a ferret that I forgot about. I did go back and watch the matches, and there were at least 2 mistakes in game 4 that I probably could have won that game. It was not when I threw the discharge into the Typhlosion, though. That did not really matter, even though I probably shouldn't have done that. I was really tired, and I think I just thought they were going to catch a move, even though they just couldn't with timing and pacing. But it was a very long day. And then there was at least one other thing I could have done in game 5. I forget exactly what it was, but then Gon pointed out if I had just done one extra Shadow Claw with the Sableye, it would have taken the damage, and I wouldn't have had to use the extra shield. So there were plenty of other mistakes. The embarrassing one was the one that came out, forgetting there's a third Pokemon and how the rules of the game work, where we have to knock out all 3 Pokemon. But yeah, like I said, really happy I got that far. The way Moneymaker was playing, I don't think I would have beaten him in the final anyway. So the difference between second and third is not the end of the world. I will say I was upset that I made Steve have to fly to South Africa. That was like my second thought after losing, was that I let Steve down. The third thought was I let an American get into the final and get a chance at winning. Now I know I'm American, but I'm registered in Australia, so it's different. But yeah, that was another one of those. Very happy with how I did in the tournament. Really annoyed with myself how I lost. Definitely worse than an overtap. But people make mistakes. It was a long day. Dan was talking in the Discord later, and we all made a bunch of mistakes that day. He just made one less than me. You know what I mean? So it was a long day. It was a tiring day. But yeah, it was really fun. And then we all went out, celebrated. People got me to sign cards, which I still don't fully understand because I finished third. Yeah, I knew you guys would have it. I figured it'd come up. I'd get ahead of it.
Steve's got it on his phone.
It's been in his phone since Melbourne. This came to South Africa with me.
That's how it gets stolen.
Someone asked me at a local to sign one of the cards. So I don't know if you guys met Valkyrie at the regional. She played in her first regional. She had me sign a couple of chef's orders. Is the card? I don't know any of the cards, so I don't know what they are, but or boss's orders or something like that.
Boss's orders.
And I thought that was very appropriate and appreciated. So I signed a couple of those for her. Yeah, I'm glad that phase is over though. Although I shouldn't have brought it up. You guys would have, so it's fine. But they're gonna have me sign it with the next local. It's fine.
Local,
but yeah, it's been fun. It was a really good run, and I think after round 3 when I qualified, it was really like just the most relaxed I've ever been. I was just chatting with people. I was barely watching other players. Wasn't really worried about who I'd play next and trying to see how they were playing and things like that. So yeah, it was definitely nice, but would have liked to win, keep them all in the home court advantage win situation. But I'm glad Moneymaker qualified that way. That's they're one of their easier ways to qualify or better ways to qualify. He needed it, whereas LCAV also qualified by getting second. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. So it's a good tournament.
Well, then it turned out that Moneymaker went off and placed top 8.
Oh, that's true. He did. He finished top 16 or whatever in the Japan, so he didn't really need that. But yeah.
But yeah, again, he didn't necessarily need it. LCAV didn't need it. You didn't need it. Vish didn't need it. Like, if you keep going down,
Yeah. So, at that point, we
really needed it.
Yeah.
Well, I needed Greg to win.
I know, Steve needed it. And that's why I felt the worst. I was like, I let Steve down. How am I going to live with myself?
No, I forgive. It's a way funnier story this way. This is...
Steve got his content out of it, okay?
That's true. That's true.
It extended that YouTube video by an extra 15 minutes.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, actually.
Thank you.
It back.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, still a very cracker of a run, and just awesome to top off a season where, quite frankly, all 3 of you played really well all season, but I really think that it's certainly a breakout season for old Greg from Australia over here. To close it out on a 3rd place is pretty incredible. So it's
very consistent throughout the whole circuit. I mean, it's a long season; it's a whole year, right? So to be consistent is very difficult.
Yeah.
I also kind of think both of their runs were super popular with everyone in the Australian PvP scene, because they're basically two of the nicest guys you're ever gonna meet in the Australia, just in general. But yeah, so it was fantastic to see watching from the outside as well when both of them are. And I think in Brisbane, I was like, I really wanted to go up and chat, because we'd met before, we chat online so much, but I was like, he's doing so well, I don't want to distract him. So I was staying away the whole tournament. Ended up getting superstitious about it, but yeah, it was fantastic.
Maybe that's what paid off.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was like, when I saw you were still going, I was like, I should chat with him, but nah, I waited till afterwards.
That's
Yeah.
all right. Well, like Greg, remember you had the massage from Bambos. Maybe that did it. And his Pikachu
That's true.
onesie.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that was it. That was the clincher. Yeah.
Yeah. To take it all back from that Perth round 1 loss to
That's
Bambos.
true. That's true. Full circle.
Bambos saves the day again.
Oh, he saved a lot of days that day.
He's going to have to bring a table to the next regional if this gets out.
All right, and we're gonna basically now talk about Worlds. Everyone's qualified. I suppose we are almost 2.5 weeks out leading into Worlds, and both as we mentioned, both Greg and Baptiste, it is the first time going to Worlds. So I want to get an idea on how you're feeling going into Anaheim in 2 weeks' time. Godzilama, how are you feeling?
Exciting, very, very exciting. Yeah, I'm waiting this moment from long time now. So just want to. It's my first World, so I just want to spend a very good time. I'm going to with my partner. She like and play Pokemon as well. We are going to holidays, so yeah, very exciting. I don't have any goal. I just want to meet people. Actually, yes, I have one goal. Play on stage just one time. Doesn't matter again who, but yeah, I really want to live this experience. Yeah, that is what I want. After I just don't want be I mean, I want to be ready for this world. I want to don't be disappointed. If I lose, it's because my opponent will be just better than me. So yeah, I will try to do my best, like I also always do. And yeah, let's see how it's gone. But yeah, I'm very, very exciting to be there.
Yeah, that's so awesome, and I think that's a great way to go into Worlds. Is just do your best and minimize mistakes, and also have fun.
Yeah, that's the
It's
most
great to
important.
hear.
I think it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, make a holiday out of it, and we're flying so far anyway. Why not?
yeah. Actually, yeah. It's 14 hours from
Yeah.
here. It's a long fly.
Yeah, it's a long way. Yeah, it's a long way.
It's good. It's good as well to spend, let's say, more days and see around. Actually, will be my first time, so yeah, I want to visit place. So will be
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah. Talking about holidays, Greg, I believe you're making a bit of a holiday over there as well.
Yeah,
Not his first time.
It's not gonna be my first time. Not my first time in the US. I was joking. I think it was Jumothy was asking if I was gonna go to Worlds or how often I go back to the States, and if I go to Worlds. This was after Brisbane, maybe. And I was joking that I'm sick of going back to North America because I've gone back every 8 months since I've been here for whatever it was, a family thing, a wedding, Christmas, whatever. So it's actually still in that 8-month cycle because the last time I was home was Christmas. So it'll be
good.
So I'm not going to go all the way to the East Coast. I'm from the East Coast, not going all the way back there. But yeah, we're going to go. I'm really excited. Similar situation to Baptiste. I'm really trying to take it in. It's my first time. My goal is just not to lose all my games. Right? If I get a game win against this type of caliber, I'll be I'll be pretty happy. Everything else is sort of gravy. I think the being on stream is a really good goal, so I might steal that one as well. That would be cool. But yeah, I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself. I need a little bit of pressure to perform, and I haven't really started thinking too hard about teams yet, which is weird that I'm leaving in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna really dive deep into that. I mean, I have a couple. I've done some things, but nothing I'm really happy with. So I just played in my first practice tournament this past weekend. I played in a local this past 2 weeks ago maybe. So I've done a little bit, but I haven't really dove too deep in yet. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be fun. We were talking a little before, so I do have some family coming, and my partner will be there, and my partner's parents will be coming, which I find ridiculous and fantastic at the same time.
Awesome.
So it's gonna be good. Yeah, what's that?
No, I just think it's so awesome. Like
Yeah,
that
I mean,
is,
I think
yeah,
they were like, yeah, they were very
your little
excited
cheer
to
squad.
go. Yeah, we're gonna have a little cheer squad, so it'll be fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it should be a good time. We're gonna go visit Al's family. So my partner's
Mhm.
sister lives in the West Coast, so we're gonna try to visit them before the tournament, and then spend the weekend preparing and whatnot.
I
But
need
yeah,
to
it should
message
be
Al.
should
We
be
need to
good
get your her parents and herself like t-shirts made
Are you
with
kidding?
your
I want a
face or
t-shirt
something.
made.
Yeah. Oh, okay, all right.
No, no,
Note
no,
that
no,
down.
no,
Note
no.
that down. Note that down.
We don't need to
Greg
start another
squad.
bit, do we?
This is gonna be all the
Aw.
card signing all over again. I don't need this.
Need is a funny word. All right, leading into Z-Tub. This will be your second Worlds. How are you feeling going towards it?
Scared and nervous because I haven't fully got all my travel and accommodation booked yet. So I'm like,
Oh,
because I was like last on the leaderboards. I waited until I had that confirmation email because the last thing I wanted was, some random from like Europe or America just moves to Australia for uni or something. And then, now they're in Australia and you're out. So I kind of just
Oh,
wanted to
man.
make sure until I had that email in my hand, because all it took was one little shift, or maybe, oops, we forgot a tournament. Someone jumped ahead of you. Like, there was just so many things. Or, someone flies to South Africa again. There's a lot could happen. So I waited until then, and I guess I'm kind of, that's kind of got me worried because I don't know what I end up doing in Hawaii. Was I went on a lot of like hikes and somewhat crazy hikes. So I would like leave in the morning and not eat until dinner and like hike up a couple of mountains and then not tell anyone where I was going. All the things they tell you to do when you're in a strange country going on a 6-hour hike. So that's also what I've got planned for this time. So it's getting all the accommodation and like how do I get out of the like national parks in Oregon? Like, am I going to get stuck in a forest somewhere? is kind of what I'm worried about at the moment. So like my goal for Worlds is, in theory, I'd like to win, but also I'm flying out well before it finishes. So that's going to be tricky. I'm like, I wanted to hit the national parks as soon as possible. So I guess if I have a good run, I might have to cancel my travel plans. So that's probably why I'm a bit nervous about it.
Well, look,
if
if you
get
have
to
a good
that
run,
point,
there's be money to pay for the
Exactly.
change
That's
travel.
true. That's true.
yeah.
The last thing we need is like another nighttime clashes situation where he wins a regional and then flies home before the closing ceremony and just ditches the trophy behind him.
You could play GBL remotely. I can like remote play in the final from like a national park. There'd be no lag whatsoever.
It's like when you
Yeah.
do a remote raid, it's like that hologram one, like in the lobby, just there.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's probably the main reason I'm going. Actually, is I kind of did what I wanted to do at Worlds last time, and Hawaii was an amazing place to visit and somewhere I really loved being. And Anaheim is not quite the same draw for me. I feel like it's not even a real city. Like, it's just Los Angeles. It's like you can't call yourself a city. You're just next to another city. That's in Australia. You have to be like thousands of kilometers away before you can count as a separate city. So, and also I think it's like Disney is kind of the home of it. So as someone without kids, that's not a big deal for me. So it was that more wanting to, but I also kind of noticed that Oregon area is somewhere that I was really keen to visit at some point. And I'm like, well, I'm probably never going to get another chance to go somewhere to be as close as somewhere like that. And so I was like, well, I'll lock it in and I'll do that. And I'll, worst case scenario, even if I bomb out and go to, I've still seen all these amazing places. Like if you look at like Crater Lake and that national park and some of the views from there, it looks pretty spectacular. So it's kind of a once in a lifetime thing to do that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that part especially. And hopefully I come back alive, I guess.
Yeah, I thought that might have been like aim number one, is survive the trip. But
no, that's way down the priorities. As long as I see the things I want to see, that's okay.
All right, fair enough. That's fine. And look, we've already hit on, I guess where your preparation is at in general. So I guess we could sort of a speed run the sort of end of this podcast and sort of ask just like quick, one word answer, or I guess one name answer. Who do you each think is going to win the World Championships? And you are allowed to say yourself. What about you, Greg? If you had to
that's
make
a-
the punt now,
That's a really,
Call
really
it.
tough question.
Call it. So we can
who
come
I
back to
think's
this.
gonna win? Who's gonna win?
now 2025 world champion will be. Dun, dun.
Axon looks really good, but I think that I'm gonna say Valiant Vish is gonna play his favorite
Oh.
Pokemon, and he's gonna come in hot, and he's gonna have no pressure, and he's gonna go out on top.
Watch out
He's
for that
pandering. He's pandering to the Aussies.
They are my people now, you know.
Yeah. That's
All
right.
right.
What about you, Baptiste? What are you thinking?
It's a very difficult question, but I have a feeling as the winner of this year will be with a Lantern team. I believe Lantern it's very good pick, very can be very very strong against the meta. So I think, and I see a lot of people running it. So I will say someone with Lantern. I don't know who, but someone with Lantern.
All right. Well, now I know one of my 6 Pokemon. That's
Build a team around it.
Yep. Easy. All right. What about you, Zeetarb? Prediction now. Who is our 2025 world champion?
I don't know. That's such a hard question because there's so many good players, and it's like it's like Marto's had an amazing season. It's Axon has just like won two things in a row, and Pocket is always doing well. But you know what? I'm gonna say Jai because he always beats me. So I'm like, and he seems to be playing really well from NICE. So I'm kind of that's the prediction for me, I think.
Yeah, the big question is, are we going to see more Alolan Ninetales counters at Worlds compared to NAIC? That's because I've got a terrible hunch that that Pokemon might be on his team for 6. But I mean, to be fair, he's also done quite well in the past with it on his Mon when it was a bit more of an anchor weight rather than a benefit. So
has it ever not been an anchor weight?
I actually, to be fair, I think it was actually quite good for him at NAIC. I think it was a very good Pokemon for him to have against the meta that he faced. But
do you think if someone from Australia wins the world, can we increase the number for this next season to qualify?
Well, actually, here's the thing. You never know. Obviously, we're hoping that we get 3 Australian regionals this season, right? Nothing's been announced yet, but we also got one in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So Oceania, in some sense, is sort of growing this season. We hope. So maybe there's
all the top 4 get a automatic qualifier, right?
True.
So if Aussie does win, we do get one more. So,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
I think if they gave like a reasonable amount of qualifiers to like Japan and Asia Pacific, then that would also have a flow-on effect for us because they wouldn't have to be always flying out here if they didn't have one chance at the very end of the season. So, maybe you got a cold that day. Too bad, you're out for the season.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if Poke Moneymaker was able to play in his Japan tournament earlier in the season, then he wouldn't feel that pressure to play in Melbourne and Perth, right? Like he could be like, all right, I qualified home country, we're all done. Instead of it being the literal final qualification tournament of the entire year, post NIIC and all. So, you never know.
He did auto qualify from Melbourne, which means that he didn't go to South Africa, which means that Steve went to South Africa. Get his points. So really,
those that remember, Poke Moneymaker registered for Johannesburg and then didn't attend. Which phew. So grateful to Poke Moneymaker for that one.
You need to thank Greg, really.
True.
This was the first
Remember
one.
that.
This was pre. Yeah. But thanks to Greg. That's
You're welcome.
No. I cherish this signature for the rest of my career for sure. I am very sorry that it is going to get stolen at LAIC, but it is a good run until then. And so I guess final sort of main question for each of you is I guess you've gone through a season. You've all had very successful seasons. What advice do you have for sort of future battlers who are either, looking to get involved for the first time maybe, or just really looking to, maybe they're looking for that breakout performance in the 2026 season? And Greg, I guess we'll start with you.
I guess I have 2 pieces of advice. The first would be go play in locals, right? Go play in locals, talk to the people that are already playing. I know, I think after Melbourne, we had a couple extra people show up, and that was really great. We had a 9-person tournament or something like that, which we don't really get at our locals. But I'm hoping we'll see. We added a couple of those people to Discord. Hopefully, they come more often. So playing locals, pick people's brains, talk to people that you think are doing well and playing well. In terms of actual playing, I would say use Pokemon you're comfortable with in these big tournaments. I think that was the biggest thing I learned, and that's what I sort of took out of Brisbane. I was playing Pokemon that I liked, but I wasn't as comfortable with them. I didn't know the awkward matchups. I didn't know things that weren't just on paper. And so I think that was a big thing for me in Melbourne. I used some kind of old Pokemon, if you will. Like I used Claude and Mandibuzz and Superior, and I just knew those matchups like the back of my hand, and I was really comfortable and able to play through things that I probably wouldn't have been able to do with things I wasn't as comfortable with. So learn the Pokemon that you like, but play the Pokemon in the big ones that you're comfortable with, and that's probably your best bet.
Yeah, brilliant. And Baptiste, what would you give as parting advice
Yeah,
to
I would say
someone
yes, same.
into 2026?
Same. Try to find local. Practice Challenge Cup. Maybe watch videos in YouTube Championship before, because I think some people like the Open Great League and some other people like only Championship. I mean, for me, it's two game different, so it's good to know what you want to and what we are talking, and uh, see a little difference between both. So yeah, find as well a community with who you can practice, um, and yeah, so local and um, community.
Yeah, brilliant. And Jack, any advice for the 2026 season?
Yep, I think yeah, the locals advice is a great one, and if you're in Perth, especially, reach out to me on Campfire or Discord or whatever, because I've helped organize those locals. So I would love to get more
Yes, he
people coming
does.
along. and I think also finding online servers to practice in is another big thing. There's quite a few like Flash for Everyone, Inadequate servers, and for Oceania there's Arena Australis as well. And I think it's also important to kind of recognize where your level is and where you're practicing as well. So jumping into like the first time I did an inadequate server tournament, I faced like 3 top line regional champions back to back, and I got like I think I got 1-2'd in one and then hosed in the other 2, and it was kind of it was like yeah, I lost, but then I'm playing 3 of the best players in the world and I lost. So it's like, is that actually was this the wrong team, or was it just they're 3 of the best players in the world, so they're going to beat you at times? And working out where that is, and it can kind of get demoralizing if you're losing all the time. So playing against players at that similar level, but who are like that slight better rather than just so much better that you can't even see what they're doing is probably one piece of advice, because you don't want to just get put off completely. And I think probably the other thing is if you're in the lead up to a regional as well, is like be more strategic with your time and practice. Like if the regional is a week or 2 away and you're playing Ultra League, Great League, why? You're getting into bat. You're kind of if you want to do well at the regional, you need to focus on that regional gameplay. And
so no Little Cup. Okay.
Yeah, you're playing Little Cup. You shouldn't be playing Ultra League, because that's getting into kind of bad habits around judging how much damage things do, what you can tank, what you can't. And even kind of GBL, I try to avoid that in the lead up to tournaments, because I get into quite bad habits when I play GBL, because unlike Show 6, people run a lot of insane nonsense teams. So you kind of have to play a bit more conservatively in GBL, and it gets you into that habit of looking at, I got to save everything, because what if they have a Bastardon in the back, because everyone loves Bastardon in GBL, it seems. So there's a lot of little things like that can get you into, at least for me, I find helps get into the right like practice zone as well. Yes,
Yeah.
locals, Perth locals especially.
Brilliant. All right. And as always, we finish off with a random question of the day. And this time for this particular, episode 52, the random question is, if you were an animal, what animal would you be? We'll bring it back to Greg.
You know, I really wanted to say something that flies because I think it'd be really cool to fly. But I've always had like very interest in a tiger, like one of the big cats. I think I would want to be a tiger because they're just so freaking cool, and like they just can like jump so high. It's like they're like Superman in animal form. I would be a tiger.
Tiger. Excellent choice. All right. Baptiste, if you were an animal,
If
which
I'm
animal
an
would you be?
animal, I would like to be an eagle. I would like to
An
be
Mm.
eagle.
able to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Oh, that's a pretty cool one. Zeetarb, if you were an animal.
Well, I'm allergic to animals, so I'm not a fan of this at all. I'm gonna probably die if I turn into an animal.
I see that you want to be a fish.
All
I was
animals, you're
thinking
allergic
like a
to everything.
shark or something, a whale, because I'm probably not allergic to them. But
One way
so
to find out.
that's maybe a reptile like a crocodile.
This is scary.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not allergic. You can't be. I don't think you can be allergic to reptiles. And I guess if they bite your legs off, it probably doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah,
Depends if you
I'm
cuddle
definitely
them.
allergic to crocodile bites. That's
Yeah.
Oh, it came up on your test.
Oh man, when I was up in Cairns, there was something on the like hotel room that was like "be crocwise," and I was waiting for Allison to get ready or whatever. And now I'm terrified of crocodiles. Everywhere I go, I see water. I'm just like, don't lean over the water. Like
Oh, gotta be
crocodiles
crocwise.
live in that. You can't do it. You got to be crocwise.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
It's a much
Steve?
bigger problem up north than down here.
Nah, anywhere. They could be anywhere. I've been told.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
Just
Yeah.
out of the toilet.
Yep. Oh,
Someone flushes a baby crocodile, and all of a sudden,
you never know.
There was a movie, wasn't there? Stephen of the PvPs.
Huh?
Not what Pokemon, rather. What animal would you be?
oh, easy answer. The tawny frogmouth, which I'm sure
Yes,
is a
your
very
favourite.
popular animal, but it is quite possibly the laziest animal of all time. They'll just to get their food, they just open their mouth, they emit a pheromone, and bugs just crawl in, and they just close their mouth. It's awesome, and like they'll knock they'll push their babies out of the nest because that's what birds do, so that you fly, and the babies, instead of like flying, they'll just like drop to the ground and then just sit on the ground, and that's just where they'll be. So they just don't fly for a bit. It's like, nah, I guess I'm down here now. that's just awesome. Also,
I was expecting a whale.
that would have been made sense. But when they get attacked, rather than doing anything, they'll like close their eyes because they look a little bit like tree bark. And then, even if they're like physically getting attacked, like oh, this disguise hasn't worked, they'll still just stand there and be like, nah, this will work. they'll think I'm a tree in just a second for sure. It's just awesome.
I think we've hit the nail for Steve for that one.
Great
Excellent,
question.
guys. Yeah, worked for someone, didn't work for someone else, but we'll go with it. And we finish it off with where to find you guys on social. So if people want to follow your journey, your PvP journey, your world's journey, where do they want to find you or want to get in contact with you? Maybe they want to scream, maybe they want some advice. How do they find you, Greg?
So I'm on a lot of socials, but I don't really do anything on the socials.
Fair enough.
Think on X, I'm like GR Fort on most of them. And then Discord, I'm fortwah, or Greg from Australia, depending on which Discord you're on. But Pokemon wise, Discord's probably the easiest place to find me. Like I said, I'm kind of on the other ones, but I don't really use it much.
Fair enough. And Baptiste, where can people find you?
So majority of the time I'm using Discord. So Godzilama, same name. I have my number if you want to be friend in Pokemon Go. So if you can find it in my profile. Yeah, it's just Discord. Yeah, I'm using.
Yeah. Fair enough. And Jack, where to find you?
Yep, only Discord. I don't have any of the others. So I'm generally in a lot of the kind of mainstream PvP servers like the Flash for Everyone, Arena Australis if you're Australian, Inadequate's server, I know Pallet Town is one I run tournaments in as well. So there's quite a lot of Discord servers that I guess if you're interested in PvP, if you join one of them, you'll probably find me in those as well.
Brilliant.
Otherwise, you're probably not going to find me on any sort of social media whatsoever.
I feel like picking you three has been like the anti-X like of guests. But again, thank you guys so much for taking out some time on this weekend to come onto the podcast. Best of luck for Worlds. We'll be both cheering you on. Or actually, no, Steve will be playing. I will be cheering you on.
I'll cheer you guys on as long as you're not
Yeah, I
against
mean, I'll
me.
be cheering
It's fine.
everybody on too.
And Al and their
Yeah,
parents.
my fan club will cheer everybody from Australia. I'll train them. I'll
I'm
train them
part of the
before we
fan
get
club.
there.
I'll have the big Australian flag. It's all good. I'll be ready to go.
I'm picturing Steve cheering us on as we're battling him because I have one local who, when you battle him, he's like complimenting you on your gameplay and team while he's beating you, and I'm like, it's so hard to deal with being complimented while someone smashes you.
Yeah.
That's some psychological warfare right there.
Yeah, that's a good play. I got to start doing that.
All right, time to whip out Mr. Nice Guy.
And then for those that are listening, please follow us on X, which is at G'day Battlers, on YouTube as well. Drop a like, a subscribe if you haven't already, and a comment. It'll be much appreciated. We'll get to the comments.
Eventually, maybe.
Eventually. We will get there.
Yeah.
But for now, again, thanks everyone, and we'll see you all next time. See you. Bye.
Bye.